Hi, welcome to Open House with Mrs. Hassler for Algebra 1, periods 3 and 5, and I'm excited to share a little bit with you about our class. So most importantly, the best way to contact me is through email, ahassler@scsmustangs.org. I'm pretty good about getting back to you through email. I encourage the students to email me as well. Anytime you have questions or concerns or something feels a little off to you, please let me know, and vice versa. If I see something that doesn't seem quite right, I'll give you a heads up and let you know. I just want to keep those open lines of communication throughout the school year. So don't hesitate to email me. So a little bit about myself. I graduated from Bowling Green State University in 2008 with my degree in math education. And then I completed my master's through John Carroll in 2015, a master's in math. So this is my 13th year of teaching, and I have taught all levels ranging from Algebra 1 to AP Calculus AB. And to be honest with you, I really enjoy teaching Algebra 1. I love the fact that I am one of your child's first impressions when they come up here to the high school. I know it can be intimidating and overwhelming to transition up here to the high school. And I'm just here to support them and encourage them. You know, of course, to teach them the content, but to let them know that we are going to make it through this year together, and I am here to help you with that. And so I just appreciate that I get to be one of those faces for them. So let's talk a little bit about Algebra 1. This is typically a freshman math course. Students are required to take a state test in May that counts towards graduation. Now, I know this past spring, due to COVID, our Algebra 1 state test was canceled. We have not heard word on whether or not the state test will be canceled this coming spring. So we are working on the assumption that it will still be scheduled. When we find out, we'll let you know what we know. But no matter what, this is one of 4 math credits earned towards graduation. So one of the state requirements is that they have to have 4 credits in math. And so this would be their first credit towards those 4 math credits for graduation. So typically as a freshman, they would take Algebra 1. And then as a sophomore, they would take geometry. As a junior, they would take Algebra 2 or some form of that. And then as a senior, they could take pre-calculus, probability and statistics, quantitative reasoning. So there are a few options once they hit that senior year to help them fulfill those 4 requirements. So let's talk about supplies for this class. So whether we are in a virtual setting or in person, my suggestion would be some way to organize their math materials. My suggestion is a binder, especially if and when we are back in person, right? Any notes or worksheets that we are pushing out to them right now are items that I will print for them, hole punch for them, and they could easily organize in a binder. No matter what, though, I would suggest loose leaf paper or at least a folder to put materials in. I did mention that we are pushing notes sheets and worksheets out toward to them. They can print those if they have that availability at home. They could open them using Kami, which is a PDF reader and allows them to write or type into that PDF. Or they could simply just copy the notes and the worksheet problems down on a sheet of paper and submit that way. So any of those options are a possibility. But if they're not doing things digitally by using that Kami program, then I would suggest at least a folder to organize the prints that they are making with the notes or the loose leaf paper that they are copying problems down on. Of course, a pencil for everyday use. I say a pen for correcting, but pens, highlighters. I tell them I'm a colors person. I like to use colors to help organize my steps or my thought processes. And so things, that would help them in terms of colors, I'm open to letting them use. Even on the Kami, it gives you the option to use different colors to write with, and the kids are already having fun using different colors to do their math work in. A whiteboard marker would be if we're back here in person and I have to verify the rules on writing on the desk during this COVID situation. So you could probably hold off on the whiteboard marker for now. A Chromebook, once they get their Chromebook charged in class every day. Even though we will be here in person, there are still online practice websites that we like to use for independent practice, or different math websites, graphing websites that we do like to use. And so they are required for all their classes to have their Chromebook charged in class for use. The other big ticket item that your child needs to get for this school year is a graphing calculator. And so in the email I had sent out before school started, I had made mention of this. A TI-83 would be the old version. That's what I had 20 years ago in high school, or the TI-84 Plus. Those are on sale, I think I said in my email, like $88, $90 at Target, Walmart, Staples. The color edition is also an option, but it is a much more expensive option and not a required option. They do not need the color edition. This calculator is required for all 4 years of math here at the high school, and it is needed for the state test. So while it is expensive, and I understand, it is an investment that they will need for the remainder of their career here at Strongsville High School. So let's talk about grades. Typically, in a typical school year, I would do an 80% assessment, 20% homework grade breakdown, but this is not a typical year. And so we decided as an algebra team to do a 60% of their grade would be from assessments. So those would be graded for accuracy. 25% of their grade would be from homework or classwork. Those would be graded for completion. And then 15% of their grade would be video engagement. And so during this remote learning, we have been creating notes using videos and posting those for the kids to watch, so that the 2 times a week that we do get to see them are used more for practice, and they're getting the chance to learn the lesson ahead of time. Because those videos are so important in terms of learning the material, we felt that it would be important to make it a part of their grade. So let's talk a little bit about Google Classroom and what it looks like for my class. Every week I'm going to post a weekly calendar. Even when we're back in person, I still want to post a weekly calendar just so that they know what is coming up for that week. And then the weekly calendar is posted on the stream. And then within the classwork, I assign materials for the whole week by the day. And so there are typically video notes through the Ed Puzzle links that they have to watch, practice worksheets to complete. So I want to show you what that looks like on their end. This is algebra, 3rd period, 5th period looks the same. So this main page, this stream, you can see I have the calendar posted for this week. And when you look at this calendar, you can see right now I have the 2 groups, right? 3rd period is group B, 5th period is group A. And so within that particular group, I have color coded if it's a remote day or a Google Meet day. I write down what they have to accomplish for that particular Google Meet or remote day. And then in their Google Classroom classwork, I try to organize their classwork to match that schedule. So again, this is our 3rd week. There's that Google Meet day that I met with the students on Tuesday for period 3. So we went over a few problems together, and then I let them log off and watch these video notes through Ed Puzzle. So they had a PDF that they could either print off or fill out using Cami, or they could copy on a separate sheet of paper. Mrs. Cermak is the one who gave those notes for us. These are the 2 videos. Mrs. Cermak broke them down into 2 parts just to make the videos shorter to watch. And then they had a practice assignment to complete and upload. So if you go back to the calendar, again, this was period 3. If you go back to the calendar, you can see on that calendar that I have for Google Meet Day. We're going to review 2.1 with a few practice problems. You're going to log off and watch the 2.2 videos. There are 2 of them, and you're going to complete the practice and turn it in on Classroom. And so again, in their classwork, I tried to organize by week and by day so that they can keep track of what needs to be done. You know, I am also one of those people who is willing to give grace, right? This is a tough transition for most people. And so I'm not going to be the kind of teacher that's going to take off points for turning in late work at this point in the year, right? We're all trying to figure out our schedules and what needs to be completed for which class and when it's due. So of course the expectation is to stay on top of their work, but I'm not going to penalize them if they're turning it in a couple of days late, right? I just need them to email me and say, hey, Hassler, I've completed this assignment, and then I'll go back in the grade book and make those adjustments for them and give them all their points back for getting that completed. Again, if that's within, you know, a few days being late or up to like a week being late, I have no issue with that. All right, so just to end, again, my teacher availability, you can email me. Typically, if students need help, I'm available 2nd period, 6th period is my lunch, and then 7th period. I have most days because 2nd and 7th period, I do have pre-planned meetings that I am required to attend certain days a week. But if your child needs extra help and they have availability these periods, then we can figure out a time to work together. And if not, then typically before school or after school would be options as well. All right, so if you have any individual questions or concerns, feel free to email me. But conferences are going to be on September 30th and October 7th. I believe those are virtual conferences. And so if you would like to set those up when we get closer to time, then we'll make sure that we get you scheduled. All right, it was so nice getting to chat with you. And like I said, if you have anything further, please feel free to email me. Have a good night.